Hey everyone, this is Brian Funk. I want to tell you about my new Ableton Live pack called 4-Track. 4-Track has 44 Ableton Live instrument rack presets, and they're all made from analog synths that I've recorded to my 4-track cassette recorder. That gives each one of the sounds of the analog synths a little extra tape character, some saturation, a little bit of tape hiss, and it brings them to life in a special kind of way, and you're hearing some of those sounds right now. Each of the presets has 17 different macro controls with audio effects to help make your sound fit exactly how you need it to in your next production. You can get this pack at my store at brianfunk.com/store, or you can get it by joining my Music Production Club. It's the current download right now during the month of October 2021. And the Music Production Club gets you access to all kinds of great stuff that I've created over the years, including some Ableton Live material, samples, educational material, our online community, and of course, our current download, which is 4-Track. You can join the club for free for your first month. The Music Production Club is a great way to keep yourself inspired and with new stuff to make music all the time. You can join the Music Production Club at brianfunk.com/MPC. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Music Production Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Funk. On today's show, I have a repeat offender. I've got Kris from They Owe Us, band from Sweden, who were on the show probably like 2 or 3 years ago. I'll put the link to our original conversation if you guys want to go back and hear that too. We had a great time talking. I really like the music that he does. And he's just released a new album called Kram. Am I pronouncing that right? Kram?
No, you're not pronouncing it right.
How do you say that?
Kram.
Kram.
Yep.
Okay.
It's hugs in Swedish.
Hugs. That's a cool name for the album. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a
Same
positive
here. Yeah.
type of vibe that you're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the new album is out, Kram. I guess that's
wow.
That's Swedish,
well
right?
Yeah.
And it's a really cool rock album. It's got modern sounds, but I also think it really throws back a lot to some of the old good stuff, the classic rock. Some of my favorite bands. I hear a lot of Beatles in there. I hear, just like good melodies, good chord progressions, and interesting changes within the music. And of course, just the sound of the record too, I think is really nice from a production standpoint. So I'm really happy to have Kris back. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, it's been a crazy time since we've last spoken. The world has thrown us a few curveballs here and there, and I'm glad to see that you're back with some new music to kind of give us a sense of normalcy and sending out some good vibes in that music.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, it's been a challenging year, I think, well, years. But luckily, I had a studio to just. I went to the studio and hide for a while, and then I just composed this album. So.
I do think staying at home is sort of works well for our type, of people that like to be in the studio working. You can isolate and still do your work.
Yes.
So I'm really happy to see that you were productive and you put that time to good use. So the album's been out for a couple weeks, maybe a month now, if I'm not correct, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's a month. Yeah,
and doing pretty well for you.
Yeah, it's every day feels like a celebration, sort of. So I have no complaints.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, probably the first thing that struck me about the album was how you were able to kind of balance this, like. It's got a modern feel, There's a lot going on that's very interesting instrumentation, and it changes up a lot from track to track. But you've also managed to not sort of like polish away all of the soul, and it has this natural sound. And it's something I'm thinking about a lot. I'm working on an album with my band. We're kind of in the mixing stage, and throughout the process, we're a 3-piece rock band, just so you know. So you get the idea: guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and there's always the temptation to throw in as much as you can. Double things up. We like to use the studio as an instrument. I especially do, and I know I do get carried away sometimes. And there have been points where we listened back and we said, all that like doubling of the vocals or all those extra guitars you put in, they actually take away from it. They add like a polish that almost ruins the rawness, and that's how we sound when we play. We're pretty raw and maybe a little sloppy at times, but in a cool way that we think. And it's tough to find that balance of like having the energy, having the grit, having the passion, but also having it neat and clean. And I think you did a really great job on that. That's one of my favorite aspects of the whole album, is how it has that kind of cool sound, but it sounds modern and old at the same time. It's got like the best of both worlds. It's a really nice balance.
Thank you. It felt important for me to do this album my way and not, I decided to be proud of my own love handles, sort of. It's this is how I'm that way. I'm not better. I'm not better than what you hear on the album. I cut it like that, and there's so many ways to, as you say, polish or put things to grid, or. But I'm not into that kind of music. But it's very easy while doing music to correct things. Still, even if you don't like listening to music that way, but when it comes to your own music or art, it's very easy to use all the tools to sort of, how do you say, maybe, I think it's easy to lose the nerve system, music. So I'm happy that you heard the music that way, because that's 90% of people who bought or review the album, they agree with you. But there are some people also who said, it sounds like a demo. But then also, demos, they're often that's the best version of a song in many ways, because then you didn't know the song that well, and you're kind of pure to the song still. So I take that review as a compliment as well.
It definitely is a compliment. Yeah, from me. I totally agree with you about the demo thing. A lot of times when I demo a song, it's like inescapable in a way. Like no matter what I do to re-record the song, it's like I'm always chasing that energy and that feeling of when the song was first recorded, because there is something special about the early stages when you're still excited about the song and it's fresh. I know Neil Young speaks about this a lot, one of my favorites, and I know it doesn't sound like Neil Young, but I hear aspects of that in the music, actually, of his style. But I don't know if that's what do they call it? What's that word? Influence of yours?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, mainly most of the artists that I enjoy listening to, they look and feel music that way. You just do it. It's like try to capture that moment. Boom. This is Sunday, this day, and I'm not singing better or playing better. This is how, and I enjoy when you are happy about that. Oh, it's a lot of good music. Then when you not try to, because it should be like a band, and what you do is for a song, and then it doesn't matter if the guitar is perfectly tuned or the drums is because again, I come back to the nerve system. If there's something that's a little bit off, it makes you listen to the song more often. And I got a friend. She used to be my A&R, and she always come back with the energy. Her name is Rachel, and she always talk about the demos I send. And she, when it's a final result, she often said that the demo sounds better, and I agree with her. Because that's something when you're like, how do you say it? I should have warmed up my English before this interview, but it's
there's a sort of like deliberateness that happens once you rehearse the song and played it a million times.
Yes,
that is not there in the demo.
No, and I've been deep in that swamp earlier to correct my own flaws, and now I could be like, it's better to just, all right, this is who I am, and and that could be like a superpower and handicap at the same time, and and I realized while doing that, so this album been much more well received than the other albums, so I think it was a good idea to do that way, because I tried to figure out what did I do different this time compared to the other album, and I think that's the only thing that it's different. It's like even more raw, and it's maybe the audience there want that right now.
I think so. At least some people anyway. Like there is this desire for authenticity. Well, when so much of our media is like airbrushed and photoshopped and music auto-tuned, quantized, and there's a time and a place for that, and I use all of those tools myself. But it's this like kind of like natural thing too that we are seeing a little bit of a turning towards, I think, in our culture also, where we're appreciating things that are technically flawed, or because the flaw is often the personality. And that philosophical thread of like Neil Young, like that I was speaking of, he likes to record the songs before the band and them completely know them, so that in the recording you capture some of the magical like exploration. And Neil Young, I think, is also just a great example of somebody who's kind of perfectly imperfect. He's not going to win American Idol, Britain's Got Talent, or any of these shows that come out, but he's one of my favorite singers. Now, the tricky part I find is seeing that in myself, because when I hear the flaw, I hear, that's because you suck at singing. That's because you have no rhythm. That's because, I hear that. And it's nice having the band, because I do have a couple guys that can say like, no, man, your voice broke where it needed to break right there. That's,
exactly.
That's the emotion. Like, don't cover that in reverb. Don't double that to to polish it away. And it's been hard for me to sit with that. But as I listen back, I do hear like, they're right. It's true. It's more real, and that is what I like about music. I like that real expression.
Same. Yeah.
Then one of my favorite stories of like the demo kind of winning is Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska record that he recorded like on, I believe, like a cassette 8-track or 4-track machine in like a bedroom. And they went into the studio to do it, and they just couldn't get it there. And they wound up with that record. And if you try to like play guitar along with that record, it's not in tune with your tuner. And the songs vary from track to track, so you have to adjust. And it's and in that way, it's kind of a pain. But it's part of the beauty is just it sounds like honest and real. And we contrive things, anytime we perform, anytime we do something again, it's a little bit contrived, but you manage to capture it really nicely. And
Yeah.
And if don't take this as me saying it sounds like everything's broken. It sounds like it works together really well.
Yeah.
I'm finding it really inspiring too for me as far as what I'm working on to keep that in mind. And this record's been fun to listen to for that.
Yeah, it's more like a philosophy, you know. It's,
that's actually what I just wrote down, the philosophical thread of, you know.
Yeah.
I love how you put it, proud of my love handles. Musical love handles.
It is. I try to, you know, it's like, I think I wrote it to you, you know, when you in front of someone, you know, like the first date or someone, when you get naked and you're like, all right, this is it, you know, this is it, you know. And that's and if you can have, if you can be you have the same attitude when it comes to your music, I think you can do something really good. But it's hard to be there, you know. It's hard to. It's easier to stay to keep the T-shirt on, you know. And like, okay, and you know, so yeah, I enjoy listening to it as well, and it was really fun making it.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of people help me out, so it's not just me making this album. So
right. Well, I'm glad you're doing that, because I do see like our culture moving in almost two directions at the same time, where there is a lot of I went to the at the Target, the kind of, like, I don't know, Targets where you are.
Yeah,
probably.
No,
right?
but
they're everywhere.
No, not here, but I've been to your Target.
Okay, so if anyone's not familiar with Target, that's kind of cool. But it's basically like the big store that has the clothes, the groceries, you know, everything. And I just noticed all the mannequins are all different shapes and sizes. They used to just be unrealistic shapes that nobody would fit into. But now there's different heights, different widths, and everything for the mannequins. And even just like, I think during the lockdown and the pandemic, you saw a lot of artists just kind of doing these at-home concerts where they were just playing. And bring up Neil Young again. He was doing one where he was walking around his barnyard and he had his chickens and he's just playing his guitar. It was great. On the other hand, we've got Snapchat filters and everything to like make us look really beautiful, and our skin is so smooth and perfect. So there is like these like diverging paths. But I think it's cool that you're making me feel like, what is it? It's like body positive, but for music, you know?
Yeah.
It's nice. It's refreshing because it's authentic and it's real. And, that's, you brought up kind of the next thing I wanted to ask you about really is like how this was put together. Cause, you mentioned that you had a lot of help, I guess a lot of other musicians playing. There's a wide variety of instrumentation on here.
It is because this band started as a duo, and when we did this podcast last time, it was Rain and I, and so Rain, the other guy, we started to compose this album, but I had this vision very clear, and during the process of making this album, I realized it's better, it's more healthy for us to stay friends than stay as a duo, because I had this like very specific idea how to make this album and the sound and the process of making it. And Rain, he had I think he felt the same way, but we. I almost turned like a very unfriendly partner. So I realized it's better for us as friends if I do this my own way. And I think he agreed that we did a good thing there. But so we're still very good friends. And he's part of he play, you know, he's the guy who played flutes and a lot of mellotron, and so and also we composed a few songs together also, you know, like truly compose them. So, and then the other guys, this basically friends or musicians that I look up to, and I try to imitate their playing, and then while making my demos, and I figure, okay, I call them and say, hey man, I try to play like you. Would you like to participate? And they say, far out, let's do this, because everyone, there were no touring and there were nothing, so they had time. So that's basically my elevator pitch for this album, how to to get people help me out, to say, I try to do your thing, but you are way better in your thing,
Hey, I think that's a clever tactic, it's imitation, flattery, and then also I can't imitate you. You're inimitable.
So that's one of my favorite drummers all time here. There's a really, really, really good rock band called Graveyard, and they've been touring so much. And that guy, Axel, who used to play drums there, and he also started that band. He's one of my favorites. So I call him. I never met him before, just on huge stages, and so I just called him, and we had a really good time, and now we're friends, So we sound check every microphone, and then when he came to the stereo extinct ribbon microphone, he said, "What's that?" And I told him, "This is still a British ribbon microphone," and he went online and bought it right that very moment. Boom! I need that. So that's his sound now also. So
that's cool.
That's basically how I, and it's
what mic is that, if you don't mind?
Is
that the Neumann SM?
No, it says no. I'm
looking at the list you gave me.
It's a ribbon extinct ribbon microphone from UK. They are
okay.
I do have a lot of ribbon microphones, but they stand out. I think they have something unique with their sound. It's by far one of the best microphones, but best ribbon microphone I recorded with. It's an amazing microphone company.
Is it called Extinct Microphone?
Yeah.
Or is it just not in production anymore?
No, it is. It's called Extinct.
I'll check it out. Extinct ribbon mic. I don't have any ribbon mics actually, and they're, I've been thinking about them.
Yeah.
And I love the drum sound on the record. It's awesome. And the drumming is incredible. It's something that stuck out to me.
That's me.
You did the drums.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So what happened? He didn't play the drums on your
just one song.
Okay. Oh, awesome. You sound great.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously. I really enjoyed the drumming a lot on the album. I thought there were a lot of creative parts, and also just nice restraint too, where you're playing for the song, that's always tricky to find in a drummer, that you have all these things to hit, and sometimes you just want to hit them for fun, but to hold back and restrain, I think, and then come alive when necessary. Awesome.
I think one of the best drummers, from my opinion, anyway, is like Charlie Watts or Ringo or something. Mm-hmm. It's like when you have a conversation and they have the perfect sentences all the time. Boom, they're saying the right thing all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's a big inspiration.
Nice, those are two of my favorite drummers too.
Yeah. But it's good. So, but the drum sound, it's basically just the extinct stereo ribbon in a very small room, and then it's a Neumann SM69 and Sennheiser 441 on snare, and two separate kick microphones, like one sub and one tube, and then it's all on red,
it's really cranked up.
yeah, it's cranked and but basically I use like all how do you say germanium? Do you say that germanium? Like the not germanium preamps, germanium. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I'm not sure.
Okay. You
haven't come across them.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably, it's just me pronouncing it like weird.
Well, I see it written up on. I have the list you gave me of all the gear that I'm looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with that. So.
But the stereo microphone, the Neumann, I had a session in Los Angeles with Norm Block, and I heard that drum sound when we played, and I said, so I would like to buy this microphone. And he said, it's not for sale. Beautiful. How much do you want? And then during the session, I just proceed asking him, how much do you want for this microphone? And the end of the session, he said, man, it's yours. You can buy it.
Wow.
Thank you. I spent a lot of time with that drum sound, try to because it's such a small room, and I use the analog heat. So I cut it with analog heat.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, yeah, you do? Yeah.
I love it.
Wow, man.
So you're going directly into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
With I patch it, so it's after the preamp there, and then yes, and now just 3 weeks ago, I received this analog drive.
The pedal, right?
Also,
that's the guitar pedal based on the heat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I use that now while mixing, like on bass and everything. So if I do anything outside my studio, I bring the SM69 and analog heat. That's one of the most important gadgets I got.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I mean, it's got so many different styles of distortion, and then the EQ and the filters, and you can move things around with it, and
you can really move things. Yeah, it's something else. And since I love how the sound you can get from a very warm and heated tape machine, you can almost get that thing out of that analog heat. So it's I'm mesmerized by it. To be honest, it's just every time I use it, I feel like, I need to call them and say they are the best.
Electron's a great company. What they do is, there's so many people making gear, and they're like your neighbors, aren't they?
Yeah,
the Swedish company, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Gothenburg. They came to the release party of this album. Yeah, awesome. It was a big thing. It's like almost like inviting the king or something, president.
Right.
It's an honor, to see. Oh man. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. It's a great machine, and even with the overbridge, you can use it just like a plug-in.
Okay, I never.
So cool.
I got it.
My just computer. Like a plugin. Yeah, so it shows up as a device. It saves your states, and you can do modulation in the DAW. It's great. What they've done to make their hardware be like software, and their software.
Yeah,
it's just nice. I love it.
I've got a computer from 2006 though. So.
Really.
Yeah.
Wow, that's how you do your work.
Yes. Yeah.
That's impressive.
So that's not that much plugins going on, to be honest. Yeah. It's just like a tape machine.
I could see how that could be kind of nice in a way. That, because there's just so many choices and so many plugins, and you can just sit around and just test different ones out. No, that's nice. Maybe that, and then never get anything done. Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I will send you a picture of that machine. That's something, that's,
I'd like to see that. Yeah. I mean, Apple just announced the new MacBook Pros, and there's a part of me, I'm on a 2017 machine, and It's still running fine, but there are some. Actually, my model has some like hardware issues. I had the whole motherboard; they replaced it for me, and the keyboard and everything. But hearing that you're on a 2006 machine, making me feel like I'm out of my mind.
But it's I have never had internet or anything on that box, so it's just like it's running like a tape machine, and that's it. But it would be a big lie to say that I don't have any plugins, because there are a few plugins that I use though. So, but I'm not able to use anything new or anything, and not many of them either. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, what DAW are you using?
It's Nuendo.
Okay,
yeah.
So Steinberg,
like Cubase.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah.
Wow, what version?
Oh, I don't know. It's like super old.
Like 2.
I don't know, but it's working well, and it's I don't know. I got my computer. I got my console here, and then my computer is here. So it's just like feels like an imaginary friend almost. It's just there.
What a great reminder to us all. Like, because I know there's got to be people like me that do this, that are chasing the latest thing, thinking like, oh, now I'm going to be able to make my hits. And no, once I get my hand on that. And there's this constant delusion that we get that it's the next thing that's going to bring us our ability. But when you even when you go back to like a 2006 computer to just record on, it's light years ahead of what we had just a few years before that.
Yeah.
And, like I remember my old days with like ADAT machines and 4-track cassettes. And when I finally got a computer, it was like, I can't even believe I can do this. I can't believe I'm getting away with this. And now, it's funny how that wears off, the satisfaction and everything. Just, you need to be flashed the new shiny thing, and you forgot how good you have it.
Well, I got this, this is very, very small studio. It's called Lyxfällan. But it's super small. But so many like cool vintage, really wonderful things, But everyone who visit me, they take picture of my computer,
That's the vintage gear.
Is this real? So
you just have like a new machine in a shell. Yeah, right. I'm sure.
It's big. It's huge.
That's funny. Monitor? Yes. Are you using an old school monitor too, or do you have something more modern for that?
No, it's not. No, it's not that old school, but it's been out for a minute, I think. So it's nothing new going on.
Okay, cool. Those are funny. I teach high school, and sometimes like show the kids of like what our monitors used to look like, where they're that deep,
Yeah. No, I don't have that.
And it's a little square screen that goes back 4.5 feet. Wow. So that's awesome. That I got to listen to the album again with all that in mind, because again, like it's just that thing. Like we've got everything we need to make great music, and kidding yourself into thinking you don't or you need something new is really just a form of avoiding the work and getting down to business.
Yeah. When I moved to this place, this studio, I had this old active speakers that are probably 20 years old, and then I realized that but it wasn't the high end. It was just something, and then I realized I would like to have a good clean sound, so I just bought some regular stereo speakers, and I got a Class A amplifier, and so basically the same sound as I do at home, similar. So it's no active like studio speakers, because that felt also a little bit. I don't get that, because these is really good stereo speakers, built for someone who like music. When they came out, they probably cost a fortune, but I got them for like $70 or something like that. And then I hooked them up, and it sounds, I listened to this the Big Red Machine, that album, and first time I heard things, like their production in these speakers, and I figure, this is a good pair of speakers. I could mix with them, and so my sound system cost me, I think maybe $100.
That's cool.
Yeah. So because I was kind of broke for a very, very long time, and so I figured, but it was good to make music. So. But it was a good sound, but it was not the same thing that everyone else got in studios or things that made for studios, but it things that was made to sound good anyway. So,
well, I know when you mix on like really nice studio monitors, like you always have to contend with how it sounds in the real world when you take it to your car, when you put it in like the living room. It doesn't always translate, and sadly, a lot of people that are going to listen to our music are going to listen to it right out of their phone speaker, or just on a really like on a cheap Bluetooth speaker or something, maybe right out of the laptop. So
and that's
things to think about.
Yeah, and also I had to, okay, what should I prioritize? How to say prioritize?
Just like that.
But yeah, so like a big fancy sound system or a new mixing console, and what's very easy for me. Okay, I would like to buy this mixing console. It's more fun, it's more trouble, and it's more I like to solder, and I need that, and just this constant headache with a mixing console, and I need that instead of
you like that.
I would like to pay someone a lot of money to get that headache instead of these speakers, so that was my priority last year. I bought myself a huge headache.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know about that, but I get what you're saying though. Like the console is more fun. It's hands-on, and it's going to affect your sound. The speakers, and I was like this for so long with getting monitors. It was just like, it's not like a toy really. It's one of those things that it does help a lot. It does give you a lot of new perspective on what you're actually making. But it's not as exciting as getting like a new guitar or a board or a synth or something that is something you can play with. They kind of just sit there. But, as soon as I got my first set of monitors, and they were just KRKs, which are great, honestly. I was like, okay, I get it. But then it opened that door of problems.
True.
Like, well, these sound so clean and flat, and I can hear so many things. Like, I don't hear this on my stereo upstairs, and I don't hear it in the car.
No.
Yeah.
But that said, you can buy like a secondhand pair, like really good high-end hi-fi speakers. Like that's that also more or less do the same thing. But it doesn't say Genelec or something else, and you don't have to pay that much money if someone have that money. But it's easy to just buy stuff, instead of I would like to make stuff.
Right. Yes, it's a lot easier to buy things than to do things. And it's the same reason why everybody has like exercise equipment in their house and like gym shorts.
True. Yeah.
You feel like you're doing something in the right direction without having to really do anything.
Okay. Brilliant start, Okay, I got the best sound in the world. okay, now I can make a song.
Okay, and then you're faced with the reality of actually having to do it.
Oh no, I need a new compressor. I need a.
I know. I try to catch myself on that. Luckily, since we moved into our house, money's always tight. So
Yeah.
it's a good actually problem in a way, because you can't just, before I got married, I'd had extra money. Like, I wasn't really spending it on stuff. Even living at home for a while, like, it was just great. But yeah, you just start buying stuff because you think you're under that delusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as like, I want to kind of go back to what you were talking about with just the band itself and how the duo became more of a solo project. I think, first of all, it's awesome that you and Rain are still close and tight, and that you're able to keep in mind, what's important really. And
Yes.
I think as much as music means to me, and look, I mean, I've spent so much time doing this, talking about it, but our relationships with other people are really more important. I think, if it's going to cost you the friendship, then maybe just don't make the music anymore, step back from that. But it's been a fun experiment for me playing with some guys again, because I've had so much control over everything for so long now, not really being in a serious band type of thing. So as we're recording, there's definitely times where I get outvoted, and
yeah, that's good.
And it's nice to just be like, okay. And it's nice to say like, all right, I wouldn't have played that on the drums or on the bass, but it's your part, it's not mine. And a lot of times I find like, once I let go of that, I realize what they're doing is actually a better idea.
Yes.
There's a couple things where I still feel like I kind of want to do this, but okay. You guys feel better. And it's a good practice for me in letting go of that control a little bit. And just, it makes the working with other people more fun, and it keeps us really open to each other's suggestions and ideas.
True.
But I can definitely also see how, if I, because I know I still can on my own make whatever I want, so I can really let go of that. If it was the only thing I was doing, I might be a little more uptight about it, like maybe I was in the past. So I think it's really nice that you guys came to that conclusion, and that you still work together on some stuff for the record.
Yeah, truly. And, such a brilliant musician, and we have the same idea of, but it's, I think keyboard is a very tricky instrument, for me anyway, since I come from, like drums and electric guitar, when it's so much energy, and, when it just can lay down chords, or you can, like really lay down chords, it's you can do that instrument in so many ways, you can really put some grit into it. So I realized I had very high expectation when it came to that instrument. I needed it in a certain way, and the sounds. And so there are a few people who play keyboards on this album. I really, really suck at that instrument. So there are a few like true brilliant keyboard players, and Rain is one of them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's definitely nice. You guys are able to come to that conclusion and keep the friendship going, because I'm sure we've all had friendships dissolve musically. It can get in the way, and that's nice. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the process, since you are doing this yourself with the help of friends. How does it start for you? Are you going to record and writing the song as you're recording? Are you coming up with a full song on a guitar first? How's the writing process look for you? Or is it all
It's
kinds of
basically, I always do the lyrics first.
You do the lyrics first?
Yeah.
Wow.
and then it's most of the times a guitar, me and a guitar, like a melody or something with the lyrics. And then I try to cut, at least 2 instruments first, if someone who play bass with me on drums, or if I play guitar and someone play piano or whatever. So I try to do it like 2 piece first, like to set the foundation, so
At the same time?
At the same time, yeah.
Okay, so you get that interaction.
Yeah, because I think I need it also, but also for the fun of it, and then have an idea, you can fool around with some chords, and then okay, let's do it, and then we cut the foundation, and then it's pretty easy to go from there, because then at that time I have an idea, okay, we should go like this, or it should be like harder sound, or so the song they call "You Make Me Want to Lick That Electric Fence."
Great title,
I had that.
I saw that. That was the first one I put on. I was like, I got to hear this one.
Yeah, but you met a few people, hopefully, when you feel like, is this real? I need to lick that electric fence to see if I wake up. But it's I had this idea, with this this riff, So when I did that, I pre-recorded the riff, so we had that while cutting it, and then there's a guitar player who played it like real, and I just did it with drums, and I think it was one of those songs you just like it became what entered the album that was basically done in a few hours, so. So that's the process basically, and so always lyrics first, and then try to find a melody with the lyrics, because it's so difficult to have a melody and then you try to squeeze in the lyrics, it's I feel, and if it's something I would like to say, it's there,
Right. I would say for me, I'm probably, for the most part, doing the lyrics last. And well, a lot of times there might be like a title, there might be a line I have. I find I move nicely when I have that, so because it clears up a lot about what the song's going to sound like and what it's going to be. But a lot of times, I mean, I'm often then come up with the guitar part or the whatever part it is, and I like to do this sort of like gibberish singing, where I just blabber, really. Sometimes I'm saying words, I'm making sounds, and I do find that it gives me rhythms. It gives me like, this is a good spot for a long vowel. This is a good spot for a chicka chaka kind of rhythm.
Yes. And, interesting.
And then I can gives me parameters for the lyrics, really. And a lot of times the lyrics, sometimes I say things that are cool in that process that I would never write down.
Exactly.
But then there's always the process of going back and usually writing it down. I've only really started with lyrics a handful of times in my life, which I think is kind of funny if you consider I teach high school English and I read and write and stuff. But I like that process of finding the sound of the lyric and then filling it in, but that's cool. Do you do a lot of writing just on your own without music in regard, like keeping a journal or anything like that?
No.
Or do you sit down and be like, I'm writing this song called "I Want to Lick the Electric"? Do you make me want to lick the electric? Is that like more how it works? More deliberate like that?
Yeah. It starts, like with a line or something, and then it feels like I kind of always write lyrics, and then so it's nothing. It's not like I sit down like office hours to write. It's just it's there, you know, when something maybe I feel something or I see something, and then you have to keep in mind also, since it's not my mother tongue, I do that, and then I have to, you know, like talk to a friend or send to a friend, you know, like, does this make any sense, you know? And most of the times there are words that need to change, you know, so that's also a part of the process, to be honest, you know, like I do that, and then I need to talk to someone who actually speak English. And yeah.
I got to listen to your lyrics with that in mind, that it's not your native language. Because for me, one of the things I really enjoy about lyrics, and this happens a lot with my method, I like that you can abuse the language to make it fit, like rhythmically, or make the rhymes work. I might use like the wrong tense of the verb, you know, use the past tense when it should really be the present or something, just because it rhymes. Or, you know, I don't know. I remember one song I was making, instead of saying left, like I left, I said leaved, I leaved, you know, and it was just because it rhymed. And I really enjoy that, like, kind of quirkiness that lyrics afford you. Lyrics are meant to be heard. Like, even the poetry it's written, and you can, of course, speak it, but it's still a little bit different with lyrics. They're not really meant to be looked at as much as they're meant to just be heard. And some lines sing better than others, you know?
True. Yeah. And that's, but it's easy to have feel like a bad confidence when it comes to that thing, you know? So it's, I realized it's important for me, you know, if it should make sense in a way. And most of the time it makes sense. But
I could see how that could be part of the, like, insecurity of your, you know, music writing. And that's a huge thing I encounter when I do vocals. I don't know, playing the guitar, guitars sound like guitars. Even if you're not playing it that well, you're still playing the notes, and you know, if you get it to fit into the song, it sounds like a guitar. But there's something about the voice that is just, there's so many different things you're dealing with at once. You got to be in tune, you got to be in time. Yet there's the expression of it so much. How are you going to deliver the lines? And and then there's just that, like, self-confidence thing of, like, hearing your own voice, that for most people is difficult to hear their own voice. And I've learned that there is actually a scientific reason for that. It's how, when you speak, your voice is coming out of your head and it's resonating differently in your ears than it does with other people. So of course it's going to sound weird when you hear your voice. So when I'm doing lyrics, it's like, that's the really tough thing, is I gotta be precise, I gotta be judgmental about just the performance, but I also have to be, like, open-minded to the emotion of it. And sometimes the emotion comes out in the problems of the voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So a lot of times the way I deal with that is drench it in effects, double it, triple it. And these are the things, like, a lot of having the other guys in the band listen to and tell me to say, like, no, it should just be dry. Just take out the double. And then the first time I hear it, I'm like, oh, but I get what they're saying. You know, it's so hard recording your own vocals. I think more than anything else, because of all those psychological elements that go into it.
Yeah, but it can be pleasure also if everything is right, you know.
I love it when it works. I love it, and I have fun doing it. But there are definitely times too where I'm just like, I got to get off this microphone and learn how to sing.
Yes. There are a few lines here on this album that I felt it was difficult to explain myself in English, and then so there are a few Swedish sentences actually, because I felt okay. I don't know how to describe this in English. So so that's the power of being to have two languages, I think so. And no one complained about that, so that's good.
Yeah. Hey, like look back, it wasn't too long ago where the like kind of like Latin invasion happened into pop music around like the year 2000, and you got Ricky Martin singing "Living La Vida Loca," right?
Yeah.
The rest of the song's in English. I forget what he talks about, but if he would have translated "Living La Vida Loca" to English and been said like, living the crazy life, it just doesn't. I don't think it would have been a hit. So who knows? Maybe that that little flavor, maybe the Swedish invasion will start, and sometimes that works out really nicely, though.
Yeah, I think so too.
Even Beatles did that, right? Michelle, they had those lyrics. I don't think it meant a lot in French, but
no,
it sounds pretty coming out of the mouth,
Yeah. I like that song.
Oh yeah, great song. Anyone you probably can mention by them, I would agree with. So are you planning on doing any kind of like performing, touring, or anything like that with this one?
Yeah,
I know it's tough time.
I already did.
That, but...
No, we managed to do like a smaller thing in Germany, like 2 weeks before the release, and we did a festival, and we did a few radio shows and 2 club shows, and then we had one show here in Sweden. So, and when I say we, it's me and another guy on keyboard, and so it's like a duo thing on live also.
Are there backing tracks or anything, or
there are a few backing tracks, but also he's like a really magician, to be honest. He's like so he's a very, very helpful tool, to be honest. He's and he's got a very, very long history of live music and touring. So he's got it's just such a relief to have him on board, and he's the guy who called me and said, "Hey, we need to practice more," so
that's nice, right?
So, it's a brilliant live partner. But we also we hired to do a few like remixes of songs, but it's more when someone got a song and then send it to us or me and say, so do like a they owe us version of this song. So we got stems, and then we play and mess around with the song, and so we do like our take on the song. So we have a few songs that we will do that. So that's he's a very good person to have that, because he's so talented with his keyboards, and he's like a true magician, to be honest. Everyone, when we play live, they're like, is this real? It's like, right. So I'm so excited to play with him. I've done so many shows with him before, with my previous band, Kristopher and the Harborhead. So when we did that Mumford & Sons tour, and so it was him on keyboard as well. So we've done many shows together. So we have this bond, and we know we work out, in a van or on a plane or anything. So it's I'm very happy about that.
And that is a part of being in a band, if you're going to hit the road.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy their company and in tight quarters? Difficult quarters.
I told him, I think it was my mom, or because she came to the release party and she said, you seem to be very happy. And I told her, I haven't been this excited and happy with music for probably the last 10 years. It's something happened. Of course, I'm happy when when the album turned out to be, when people actually buy the album and show up to shows, of course, it makes me happy. But it also is something with him and me, and because he comes from like jazz, and I can really push him hard, like do more, be more wild, and so we have this. So one show is not like the other, so we can push each other. So I hope anyway it's a fun show because it's something happened, and a lot of things it's not rehearsed, so
yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So yeah.
Well, sometimes when you have is he using like something like Ableton Live, or do you know?
No, it's like a super simple. We have this what's this? It's like a small machine, so it's got like 16 separate outs. So we use like a few different amps on stage, like
oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like
so you send like the guitar out over here, and a keyboard goes out there.
Basically like that, but it's more like samples of voices, and not singing voices, but like sound collage, and then the bass for a few songs, and so it's so the setup is pretty cool. It's just like a two amps and then keyboards and drums. So it looks good and it sounds good.
Nice. Oh,
and very reliable. Also, you can. So yeah. I don't know. It's I think there are way more modern ways to do this, but it works for me.
Hey, that's all that matters,
Yeah.
It's nice that you're able to incorporate some of that stuff and still have it feel live and spontaneous.
Yeah.
That's something that can get lost when you start doing things, backing tracks or other samples or stuff. It's what what really got me into using Ableton Live was the flexibility of it. When I played live, I could have a lot of pre-recorded music, but I can put it together however I want, and every single performance is different. And it's like jamming with song arrangements.
True.
And that's something I think probably like the early 2000s, when I was seeing bands when they're starting to bring laptops on stages and stuff. That always frustrated me because it was like, it feels stiff. I almost don't even know who's playing what. And it just feels kind of like we're on like, almost like one of those like driving rides at the amusement park where you're just on the track and you have a steering wheel, but you could just not even do anything. And you know what I mean? So it's nice now. I mean, now it's so much different. You have really expressive live music with all kinds of different tools. It doesn't have to be Ableton or anything like that, but you can get far. That's awesome. I gotta check. Do you have video of that?
I think so.
Any of those performances?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
he
uses a link, and we can put that in the show notes.
Yeah. He uses this one, the OP1, the keyboard. You got that? Yeah. Yeah. So we do a lot of live samples also, like to build beats live. So I play and then he sample and then we do something. So,
cool.
But you need to, again, it's easy to buy these things, but you need to be like really how to work with them. So that's a good thing with this guy because he's so into this. He's got a very small rig, but what he got, he know how to make music fast, and it was like really fast with it, but also with a live feel to it. So of course, sometimes it goes wrong, it's. But that's something about that also.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what I mean about the car that can't go off the track. Like, I'm in a live show. The danger is part of the fun. And sometimes when things go wrong, that's when the personality of the band comes out, and the connection with the crowd.
Yeah.
We were here the time this happened.
Yeah,
and that's fun.
I'm not scared of that. I enjoy that very much, and it's part of the art also when things happen, not in a spontaneous way, because you want it to be like in one certain way, but the machine will like to go in a different direction, and I enjoy that. And then you say, all right, the song's going to be like this today, and it's I have something about that, and I have no anger or towards that. I like that when things, if something goes in a different direction, it was meant to be that day, I think. And it makes me feel alive also, like, oh, everything can happen,
Yeah.
So.
Well, that happens sometimes when you play with people. They start the song too fast, too slow.
Yeah.
Switch too early,
Yeah, that should be that way. So I enjoy that very much.
That's cool. So what's this guy's name? We got to shout him out. Sounds like he's doing cool
his
work.
name is Klabbe. I will pronounce it for you. I will send you an email with this.
Yeah.
Claes Henrik Hörngren. So he's a I would say he's the guy over here anyway to hire. So I'm very, very, very happy, and I don't know why he picked to play with me, but it's we have a lot of fun, and I give him a lot of space also.
Well, that's probably why it's fun. He has freedom.
Yeah,
and likes the music, and
and I like to drink and he like that too. So it's a good combo.
Compatible personalities. Yeah. Yeah, if you have like that, if he has links or anything, we'll put that in the show notes too for people to check out. Sounds really interesting. I'd like to see, what's going on under the hood a little too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that stuff. Because that's there's just so much live performance now. It's great. Like there's just so much you can do. It's been a lot of fun for me recently with the band we're playing, because it's just instruments and microphones, and there's no I'm not using any of my technology or my software or anything, and it's really fun for that. But then it'd be just as fun if we decided to incorporate that.
Yes,
because it's just another way to like express yourself and do the song a service.
That's a little bit also. Sorry if I interrupt, but that's a little bit when a band, like we start as a duo, and when the fee get a little bit higher and we could hire more musician, that's the tricky part, I would say, because it's better to stay like the original idea, like this, 2 people, or in your case 3 people, instead of if you make an album with a lot of horns and stuff like that, it would be cool to have that on stage also. But I think it's easy to get carried away when you get a little bit more money, like a little bit like my computer almost. If it's the limitation of this band, like they owe us, it's just because it should be like 2 person, and I need, and I want that. I will always keep that format. It should be 2 persons. And I will be very strict about it should never expand, because that's the beauty of that band, because we are not able to play all the melodies and bass and drums and stuff. So then we keep. So what's the most important of this song? Most of the time, it's just the raw energy, and then. And that's what I like to see when I see a band live anyway. So I told him, because now when we're getting booked for more festivals, and, the rate is a little bit, it gets better and better. And we could, decide to, should we bring a bass player or something? And then everything would be like, boom, lose the sexiness, I think.
It's a lot to consider. You'd have to rethink every song. You'd have to also hope that it's a good chemistry in the van, as you're driving around. Are they going to be good sports about sleeping on couches and floors?
True. Exactly.
All that stuff does matter. I've most of my life played with people I'm friends with, So that's
Yeah.
usually worked out well. And I think, that you have to enjoy the hang, you got to enjoy the
Yes.
experience of just being together with people.
Yeah. And also to have fun, but stay quiet, Don't, sometimes you feel like one of the best bus rides, and then I realized we didn't talk at all, but we had a good time,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe listen to something, or we just eye contact, and, man, we're on tour. This is something unique. This is,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that when you're comfortable being quiet with someone,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
not awkward. And, yeah.
No, it's not. It's like,
Yeah.
I enjoy that very much.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's kind of like a hurdle in like a relationship with any person, is like you don't feel like you have to be filling the air all the time.
No.
You're not worried about that. You're not worried if you're being judged because you're too quiet or too talkative.
No.
Yeah,
True.
that's nice. But you're right. When you add a new ingredient in, it's like getting a new piece of gear. Then you have to learn it. It sets you back a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sometimes is great, but yeah, I feel that too,
Yeah.
because it would be fun to throw in a couple extra ingredients to what we're doing. And I saw a band recently where just the singer just had the microphone and I was like, man, I kind of wish I could do that. Not even have to play the guitar sometimes.
Yeah.
But it, even just having our weekly rehearsal, it would complicate that tremendously.
True.
It was something I loved about going solo. Like, it would be like, can I practice today? Yes, I can practice.
Yes,
can I do that show? Yeah.
I can.
I don't have to call anybody.
No. But there's also, I saw a few years ago, I saw Mumford & Sons at a big arena over here, and like a stadium, and they have like a huge band, like a lot of people, and of course they play the same songs as they did when we went on tour with them, but the limitation of Marcus playing the kick drum while playing guitar, or that's kind of their sound. I know and understand that they would like to develop or anything like that, but when it comes to a live show, it lost what was interesting. When I saw them that time, it was just like a regular band, But first time these guys playing with limitation, and I enjoy that. Of course, they're brilliant songwriter, and it was a good performance, but it was even more unique when they played with their limitations.
Right. I gotcha. Yeah, and there's at such a level too where, I guess, like you said, it was an arena show now, it's a little less forgiving when,
yes,
for like those possible accidents or mistakes or unexpected turns, you have to be a little bit more careful, I guess.
Yes.
In theory, I suppose. I guess you don't have to be, but yeah, I know what you mean.
That's what I like with Killers. There's 4 guys playing rock and roll. That's it.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's just, no matter fame or success stuff, same guy from the desert playing rock and roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something nice about that. That's something we're having a lot of fun with. It's just we're just what we're doing in the room is what's happening.
Yeah.
That's the way it's always been. I mean, it's only recent that's been changed, with technology and stuff. But there's something special about that. Of course, it's pretty cool to take things to different levels as well. But I guess there's more points of failure and more possible. I don't know. You got to be careful or something.
Yes.
But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, if you have videos of those performances, I'd love to see that and put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's a lot of fun and still maintains the energy, which is really
Yes.
central to what is going on in the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did great work, and I love that you managed to do it with a lot of friends. It has this nice spirit of, it sounds like a band, you know, it sounds like people playing together. And that can
Yeah.
be sometimes hard to do when it's not a band always playing together. But I think your
Yeah.
approach of playing the foundational instruments together is really effective because you
Mm.
get that interaction happening in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how we did our album. We recorded the drums separately, but we were playing along. You know, we just
Yeah.
weren't really
Yeah.
the guitar wasn't really counted. It was just scratch.
Yeah. But still.
Yeah, but that feeling of we're together. And then even on a couple tracks, especially like we did acoustic guitar overdubs, we did two guitars at the same time on one mic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's good.
it just felt alive. As soon as you put that in, it
Yeah.
feels like, like there's like a party going on now and there's people
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. It's very difficult to do. It's difficult to describe, but when you have a channel like that, and we just like, there's no limit of that fader. You can be very loud and mixed because so much live and bleed, and it's always good for music, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, it's, you know, those tracks are probably the least perfect of them all because we're
Yeah.
two people at once, and, you know, inevitably funny things happen on one end or the other.
Yeah.
But they work. They're nice. You can't polish things too much, or else you just get like bland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fine line of you know, the guts or the polish.
Yeah. I did an album in Muscle Shoals with Jimmy Johnson, who used to be in Swampers, and he had such a amazing stories about, you know, them playing. Of course, there's a lot of bleed, but you know, there's few of their recordings they didn't use headphones. You know, them in a band, you know, like in Fame Studios, you know, there was like a big room. They played together, and you know, it's something happened when you listen to those. It's like they never get dated, those songs, you know, they recorded, you know, with Aretha Franklin or Paul Simon or whatever, you know, it's like something happening. But I think it's a lot of when you capture a room and the energy by all the instruments and people are like looking at each other, and it's something you can almost hear that, you know, like, man,
absolutely. Good. Yeah, it's like there's like a sixth sense you pick up on, some sort of electricity is coming through.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I'm really happy for you. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun. The music is great, and good things are happening.
Yeah.
Exciting to talk about you about all this stuff. It makes me want to go do work too. So you're leaving me inspired, which is, to me, like the best thing, you know? So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And we have the new album, Kram. Kram?
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yes. Yeah, you did.
And that's you can stream that everywhere. I was listening on Apple Music. It's on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube, I think, too. And
okay.
And you also have theyous.com if people want to go to your home on the web.
Yep.
Any place else you want to send them? There's social media sites or...
maybe I think I'm most active at Instagram, though. Mm-hmm. But that said, I'm not that active. but I check it sometimes. But it basically... So, but they can go. It's often me taking picture of gear. So if you're a gearhead, you can follow that site.
That's fun. Yeah, maybe we can have a look at some of these, as you put it, headaches that you've gotten yourself into.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, thanks so much for taking the time. It's great to connect with you again, and we'll have to do it in the future after something else comes up. It's always
good
fun.
thing about this. The good thing about this interview is I never have shorts on, but today.
There you go.
So it's a very unique thing for you.
Yeah, I've never had to really discuss dress code with any of my guests. I don't think we have any issues with shorts.
I never
like?
ever wear. No one or almost not that many people seen me in shorts. So this is basically for you, my friend.
And the billions and billions of viewers around the world. Very good. Well, Kris, thanks so much, man. Everyone should go check out They Owe Us. Great music, like all the stuff we talked about. A lot of great energy. Really, even if you just want to hear some cool production and just a nice balance of energy and performance and a cool sound. I think that's. Hey, look, there's a lot of great music that I don't really enjoy listening to because I don't like the sound of the records, and probably the other way around too. But this is a really nice collection of music that you put together. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
All right. And everyone listening, thank you for listening to the Music Production Podcast. We hope you have a great day.